Today I like to talk about living in a capitalist dystopia, but not just a capitalist dystopia, it's like a time loop. There's several movies about stories where the protagonist keeps waking up and living the same day over and over again, although each time they live that day is slightly different, and they remember stuff from the prior days, and so they can make slightly different decisions, although it does seem like a lot of the stuff is just kind of predetermined, out of their control. And even if they try to make a different decision, the result kind of ends the same. There is, I think, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray's one. There's one with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, I believe. I think that one's called Edge of Tomorrow. Not 100% sure. But there are movies like that. Well, I feel like I've been waking up to the same day or similar day for a long time. I noticed it pretty acutely over the last couple weeks or so. Oh, really months. I gotta wake up. Yeah, I just like check the news, just see what's up. Oh, okay, the war in Iran is still going, or is it going, or is it a ceasefire? Oh, it's a ceasefire. We got a deal. It's just everyone agrees. It's just Trump's got to agree to it, or the Iranians got to just sign the papers. Oh yeah, we have a deal. In fact, we won the war already. We won. The next day, we have a deal. We have a ceasefire deal. It's a matter of days. Meanwhile, oil prices have gone sky high, and the price of gasoline is just ridiculous. I filled up my vehicle. This was when Whiskey Rye and I went hiking near Mount St. Helens. Filled up the gas tank, and it was like $75. I think I had to fill it up twice to get all the way out there, and the other time it was like $80. I don't remember spending $80 on a gas tank in a regular vehicle. I had a humongous van once, to try to camp in, and I've made some videos about that. Those were misadventures. Wow. Got stuck in the mountains doing a rookie move of backing up into a ditch in a rear-wheel drive open differential huge van. That was an interesting experience. That was next to a lake called Mosquito Lake. There was hundreds of mosquitoes just ravaging me while I was using my satellite phone to ask my wife how to or to call a tow truck that was willing to come out there, because it was in the middle of the wilderness. That's its own experience. Here's a video card if you're curious about that. But that van had a humongous gas tank, and I remember spending $100 or $110 to fill that one up. But for a regular vehicle, I don't think I've ever spent $80 trying to fill up the gas tank. That's just nuts. I do remember one of my friends saying they spent I think it was $80 filling up their gas tank. I only remember one time that I heard anyone complain about filling up their gas tank because it was $80. That was in springtime of 2008. 2008. 2008. What happened in 2008? Do you remember? Maybe you weren't alive, or maybe you were just a baby. I'm sure there's people that watch this channel who were grown adults in 2008, and they remembered. Well, I was a baby doctor in 2008. I had just graduated medical school. In fact, the friend that complained about filling up their gas tank and it being $80 was
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, American citizens are just learning that they are in what we call a capitalist dystopian time loop. You wake up, do the same thing. You wake up, do the same thing, repeat. 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 And now people are saying that we are now tired. America is dystopian. There is nothing interesting. There is so much oppression that is going on with the corporate America. We have the few groups of people that the wealth has been concentrated into their hands, and it has been taken from the poor. And these people decide when you get to have fun. These people decide when it's time to cry. These people decide when it's time for you to go angry. One thing that stands out, and this is the truth, is that it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier with time. And in this video, brothers and sisters, I really found an interesting, I think he's Chinese American. It's called Gobi and Doobie. He got a channel called Gobi and Doobie. Kindly go check his channel out. It talks about I'm living in a capitalist dystopian time loop. And I believe this is not just about him. It's about majority of Americans who have always been trying to come out and talk about all these scenarios, talk about all these issues that are going on in the United States. It is really crazy that you are living, you don't know even if tomorrow you will wake up. I mean, you might be homeless anytime. It is becoming also illegal that the government is not providing solutions to all these problems, but at the same time, they are the ones who are causing chaos in everything that you are saying that is happening. Everything is about money. Everything is about capitalism. People have given up on family. People have given up on love. People have given up on community. They don't make a damn sense to people. People are afraid of even having kids because America is becoming a capitalist dystopian. And it keeps people repeating the same, repeating the same, repeating the same. And at the end of it all, what you realize that you have been living a lie. That thing that they told you about meritocracy, that thing they told you that, work hard, have your degree, you might secure a job. They lied to you. They played you. That's all they did. So when you get to learn, when you get to understand the truth of the matter, I mean, it's never the same. So brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video by Gooby Dooby. The title of the video is I'm Living in a Capitalist Dystopian Time Loop. So go check him out, go check the video out, and then I'm gonna be back. I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Unique Stories, but until then, let's get into it. I'm gonna be back.
one of my med school classmates. It was the spring right before we graduated. Then I went into residency. Well, it just so happened that that was the year that the stock market crashed. Well, it really crashes over a while, like from end of 2007 until spring of 2009. But it led to the Great Recession. You can't call it the Great Depression. It's got to have a different name. And it wasn't, you don't want to make it sound as bad as the Great Depression, so you say it's the Great Recession. 2008. And the other time that it cost $80 to fill up your gas tank. Well, we're not in a Great Recession right now, or are we? This is the loop I'm talking about. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. Things get expensive. Things get a little cheaper for a little bit, and then they get even more expensive. The only things that are certain, it's like Benjamin Franklin, is death and taxes. That's what he said. Well, I would add to that is taxes. The rich get richer, and everyone else gets worked harder for relatively less pay. Wages have gone up, but inflation's gone up. I have a very specific item, actually a couple items, that I can talk about inflation. Because there's a Steven Spielberg movie coming out this Friday. And I want to watch it in the movie theater. Because it's a Steven Spielberg movie and it's about aliens. It's called Disclosure Day. I think aliens are such a fascinating topic. I don't think they like come from some other galaxy or something. I think they're weirder than interstellar travelers. I do think that they exist, and I think that they're interdimensional beings. There's an author named Jacques Vallée who has a series of very interesting books where he documents what people have experienced over many cultures, not just our current modern one, but cultures before that. But he also details the interactions with these visitors that people have had. And yeah, it doesn't make sense that they're interstellar travelers. It makes more sense that they're interdimensional, and that they've been called other things before: elves, fairies, demons. Well, I got really sidetracked, but the reason why I bring that up is because I really want to watch this movie called Disclosure Day, which is about aliens, and it's directed by Steven Spielberg. So I want to watch it in the movie theater. And I know movie tickets are expensive these days. So I mentioned it to my wife, and she said, well, let's go during matinee. We'll go early during matinee time so that we can get a cheaper ticket. And I said, okay, let's go Saturday. And we can get a cheaper ticket if we catch like the noon showing, or one of those like early afternoon showings. Well, I selected the seats. The theater was already about a third full. It's like a week before the showing, and we got pretty good seats. And it's the matinee showing, and I went to the checkout, and I clicked checkout. The tickets are $38 for two people. So that's what? $38 is $19 each for a matinee. I don't even want to know what regular time cost is. That's incredible. $19 per person. In 1999, this is before the .com bust crash, market crash. See, this is just a recurring theme. 2001 to 2003, .com crash. Before that, 1999, I was a teenager and I was in high school, and I got my first job. I worked at a movie theater. It was the time when The Matrix came out. That was pretty cool. I could watch it as many times as I wanted because I worked there. But I made popcorn. I worked in the concession stand and asked people what they wanted to order. You could get combo number 1, a large popcorn and a large drink for $5.50, or combo number 2, large popcorn and 2 medium drinks for, I think it was like $6.50. There was a combo number 3, I don't remember what that was, and then there was like nachos with like this really weird cheese. I don't even know if it really is cheese. It just kind of looks like maybe cheese, and they had like a few jalapeno slices on it. And then some hot dogs that, like, I don't know why anyone would want to eat them, because I don't even know how long they've been rolling on the roller thing, heating up. Yikes. Well, the cost of a movie ticket in that movie theater back then was $5 for the matinee show. But the like Saturday night time, like the main time, not the matinee time, it was like $8 or something, maybe $7.50, something like that. It wasn't $19 for a matinee. I'm paying $19 for a matinee ticket. It's incredible. $38 for the two of us to watch this movie. I mean, that's incredible. Like, people don't own, like, well, maybe people still own Blu-ray or DVDs or even VHS. You could probably buy several DVDs for $38. You could own the movie. You could watch it as many times as you want. There's another thing that comes to mind when talking about costs. Actually, there's several, but this one really comes to mind. I was looking in Reddit, and where I live is in the Pacific Northwest, and one of the local cities, in their subreddit, someone posted a picture. They said, "I'm just going to post this receipt from the grocery store, and it tells a story. I don't need to add any information here." So I looked at the picture, and it was the first item was Rainier cherries. So Washington has some really great fruit orchards, like cherry trees and apple orchards. Lots of apples up here, and other fruits too. But there's a Rainier cherry, like Mount Rainier is one of the stratovolcanoes here, the tallest one. There's Rainier cherries. They're very good, and they look really cool too. They're kind of like this yellow, orange, red kind of mix of colors. They're really pretty. They're really pretty, and they taste good. Well, on this person's grocery receipt, the first item was Rainier cherries, and it said $37. And then the next item was a bag of Dorito chips. I think it was like $5.99 or something. And then the next item was Rainier cherries canceled, negative $37. And that was the receipt. I've been to that grocery store chain, which I don't like to go, but it's like the one that's like near my house, and I only go there if I absolutely have to, because one time I bought a red bell pepper, a single red bell pepper. That's all I needed, and I had forgotten to get it from the other grocery store. I like to go to Trader Joe's. It's a lot cheaper. The produce is really fresh. But I went to this one because I had to cook this meal, and I had forgotten to get a bell pepper, and so I just ran to the grocery store down the street, and I got the red bell pepper and put it on the checkout weighing thing, and it said it was $10 for a vegetable that is I don't know, are peppers vegetables or fruit? I don't know. I think they're vegetables. The vegetables and fruit boundary always kind of is mysterious to me, because it's got seeds in it, but it's almost full of air. It's just like kind of like the flesh and some seeds and air. It's very light. $10 for a single bell pepper. I've never bought produce there since then, but I had to buy it that day because I had to get the bell pepper, and I had to get home, and I had to cook, and I was like, crap, $10, dang. I paid $10, and I was like, gosh, I'm still mad about it. This was like 2 years ago. Still mad about it. Well, yeah, things have just gotten like worse. Every day the prices get worse. Wages, they might be going up, but not nearly as much as the price of everything else. There was an inflation reading today from the government that said inflation year over year has gone up 4-point-something%. Their target is 2%. Now that's an interesting thing. Why would you want inflation? Why would you want 2% inflation? That means whatever you saved up is worth like 2% less the next year, and 2% less than the year after. Compound interest is very interesting. It's very powerful in both ways, in accumulating and making things go away. Why would the government want 2% target inflation? Well, they're not even hitting their target. They're way over. It's 4%. And then they do this thing and say, oh, well, then the numbers are not that bad, actually. It's not that bad. Actually pretty good. When you exclude food and energy, when we talk about core CPI, core CPI excludes food and energy. We're only at 0.2% increase month over month. That's our target. We wanted about 2% year over year. Yeah, you just kind of got to throw out all the food and the gasoline, that people need to get to their jobs and get around to the grocery store. Yeah, we're just going to exclude like a basic thing like food, that people need to eat to survive. Who cares about that? We just look at core CPI, like what people pay for like all the other stuff that they don't need. That's what we care about. Yeah, and so today they were like, oh yeah, core CPI, right on target. Meanwhile, I'm like, Rainier Cherries, $37, man. Matinee tickets to a movie, $19. The heck? Movie tickets should be in core CPI. That's not a food and it's not an energy. It's not gasoline. It should be in the core CPI. I mean, it may be. But I think they should just get rid of core CPI and then just like track matinee movie ticket prices. Yeah, that could be the core CPI. Well, this is just like, yeah, I feel like every day is kind of the same for like decades. The rich get richer, everyone else gets worked harder. Even when we have AI that can do a lot of stuff, it's not that people get to work less because AI does like so much stuff now. No, people are worked harder. You got to use AI and you got to work harder. You got to produce more for the man. That's the same old song and dance over and over and over and over again. Yeah. I haven't even mentioned like the cost of houses. Like I guess I'll talk about it now. I still rent in an apartment. My wife has a job. I've got this job, making YouTube videos, and we can't afford to get a mortgage in where we live because it's just so freaking expensive. And like I look at like a mortgage, I'm just like, okay, so if I get a mortgage for a house that's X amount, and I get a mortgage for 30 years or something, well, how much do I pay in interest to the bank over the 30 years? Well, it's over the amount that I made, that the house costs. It's like, I don't know, you could do the calculations, but it's like 1.5 times or something like that. Depends on the interest rate and all the other stuff, and how much you put down payment. But the bank is essentially making more than a multiple of how much the house is worth. You're working your butt off to have the privilege of living in this house. You're working your butt off. You got a chain around your neck. You sign the paper. As you're signing the paper, the banker is putting this chain around this metal collar around your neck and hooking up the chain to their debt collection system. What the heck, man? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would I want to pay the bank that much money? What is money anyways? Like, what's a dollar when you're dead? When you die, what's a dollar? Why are we all chasing dollars? Or yen, or euros, or pounds, or whatever? Why are we destroying the life support systems of this planet? For corporations. Corporations to return value to the shareholders. Who are the shareholders? Well, they're not most people. You know, they're like the very wealthy people. The very wealthy people are getting very extravagantly rich at the cost of everyone, including the forest and the beings that live in the forest. We have a stock market that is it hit an all-time high and it's coming down. We also have sea surface temperatures that are at a current all-time high from global warming, global heating, from extinction level temperature rises. The rate of temperature rises is extinction level, mass extinctions. This has happened multiple times in the last eon. Eon is like about 500 million years. In the last eon, there's been 5 mass extinctions, all related to rapid rise in CO2 concentrations in the air. CO2 is an invisible gas. You can't taste it, you can't smell it, you can't see it as a gas. But it is very powerful in retaining heat, changing the sunlight into heat. Well, we are at an all-time high sea surface temperature. There is an El Nino forming in the Pacific right now. It might even be a super El Nino. El Nino is when the wind patterns change and this broad swath of the Pacific Ocean near the equator heats up. That causes major disturbances to weather patterns around the world. It can cause droughts, it can cause storms, it can cause a lot of people and animals and plants to die. It's looking like we might be heading into a super El Nino, peaking somewhere around December, January. That means a lot of fires. It means fires in the northern hemisphere this summer and next summer, forest fires. And it means fires in the southern hemisphere when the El Nino peaks, December to January. It means heat waves. It means people die from their body not being able to cool down because it's too hot. It's called a wet bulb temperature. Temperature is too high. Even if you sweat, you can't cool off. Your body's still heating up. You die. Unless you can get to somewhere where it's air conditioned or like underground or something. Even if you go try to bathe in like a river or something, or a lake, you may still die if the water is the same temperature as the air. If you're near a river where the river is fed by like ice cold glaciers up in the mountains, maybe you could survive. But if you're in just a lake and it heats up with everything else, you're dead. yeah. There's a funny, well, kind of funny, little cartoon, and it shows. I think about this at least once a week. It shows looks like a dad and a kid, and they're like, I think, roasting a rat on a stick on a fire, and then behind them was like ruined buildings. And then the kid wants the dad to, I don't know if it's a dad or just like some stranger. Maybe it's a stranger and a kid. But they're survivors of some calamity. And then the kid's like, "Can you tell me the story again?" And then what happened? And then the dad says, "Well, you know, we lost everything, but for one beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for shareholders." Now that's the comic. I think about it a lot because, I mean, that's what we're doing. That's where we're headed. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah. Why? Speaking of the war, well, the war in Iran, I looked up how much each interceptor missile costs. So, say like Iran launches Shahed drones. They're unmanned aircraft with bombs on it. Or a ballistic missile, which is like a missile that launches up into the upper atmosphere and then it comes down at an incredible speed and blows up. Well, we've got the United States, Israel, and the other Gulf countries. They have interceptor missiles. Now, the United States interceptor missiles, which are launched to try, it's actually pretty fascinating that this can be done. But like, say you launch a ballistic missile from Iran and it goes up into the air and then it releases its warhead and it starts coming down, like, I don't know how fast it's going, 4 miles, 2 miles a second, or 3 or 4 miles a second. It's going fast. It's going so fast that at night it's just glowing red hot. I mean yellow. It's glowing yellow. You can see it just like glowing, coming down. Well, you have an interceptor missile at the place you're trying to defend, and you detect the missile launch from Iran, and then you launch your interceptor missile, and that missile is screaming towards the other missile that's going like, I think it's like 2 miles a second. This one's got to go faster. So it's like 2 cars going 2 miles per second. And then you have to hit the other one with this one. What it does is you gotta predict where the warhead's gonna be, and then the interceptor missile goes and it blows up right in front of the incoming ballistic missile, and that the shock wave detonates the other missile, and so you get 2 explosions. Ideally, you get missiles coming in, interceptor missile launch, interceptor boom. Hopefully it makes the ballistic missile go boom, far up in the sky, away from any buildings, away from any people. It doesn't always work that way. These things come in fast, and sometimes they don't come in like a predictable path. Sometimes they're kind of like curving, like spiraling and doing unpredictable things. And so you get like your interceptor missile, and then it goes to where it thinks the warhead's going to be, and it explodes, but the warhead kind of like went around it, and then boom, people die. It's gotten to the point where they're launching 2 interceptor missiles for each ballistic missile coming in, because it's going so fast, and it may not stop it. So they launch 2, and then the first one explodes, but no, it didn't get the missile. the missile's still going. And so the second one, boom, and maybe you've saved some lives. Well, I looked up how much an interceptor missile, a Patriot interceptor missile costs, and it's $4 million each. So if you wanted to stop a ballistic missile and you launch 2 interceptor missiles, that's $8 million right there. And usually when there's missile launches, there's multiple ballistic missiles being launched so that it overwhelms, hopefully, and that's the intention, overwhelms the defenders. So let's just say you launch 5 ballistic missiles. Well, now you got to launch 10 interceptors to try to stop them. That's 10 times 4 million. That's $40 million right there. Yeah, we don't have money to fix roads. Like, there's so many hiking places that I really like to go, and I was like planning to take my wife and Doobie to these beautiful places, and I can get to some of them, but a lot of them I can't get to. And I don't know if I don't know if I will be able to this summer. I mean, it maybe next year, but maybe not, because of the roads that washed out last December here in Washington State from this atmospheric river, made possible by climate change, and this flooding and this deluge of water, like melted snow and this tons of rain just washed away all these roads. There's like so many paths that like I wanted to go. I was really looking forward to going, and I can't because they're washed out. Oh, hey girl. Let's not hit the tripod. You can chew on the stick over here. There you go. I can't make it because the roads are not fixed. They're fixing a few of them, but the majority are being left by the wayside. It's incredible. We got money for missiles, but not roads. We got money to give tax cuts to wealthy people, but not to make universal health care. In fact, the health care premiums go up by a lot. I think we got our priorities really messed up. We got like, today one of my friends texted me and was like, "Hey, did you know this?" So I looked at it and said the Ukrainian military confirmed that for the first time in human history, autonomous drones killed humans without any input from humans. Oh, great. Just fantastic. Let's just activate Skynet while we're at it. While everyone's being overworked and like we're forced to use AI that hallucinates, and we're working more hours even though AI is doing so much work for us. And then let's just activate Skynet. You know, like, is John Connor alive? I hope he's alive right now. I hope he's not a baby right now. I hope he's like at least a teenager and is like figuring things out, because like, yeah, if he's a baby right now, he's gonna be too late. We're screwed. And then going back to the Iran war, I was watching a news briefing, and this goes back to the Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, like time loop. The president of my country, President Trump, was like, "Yeah, I don't know what the Iranians are doing, because they just tap. You know, we have the best deal. They just gotta sign it, but just I don't know what they're doing. They think they can just drag this on, but they're gonna pay the price. We struck them hard last night. We're gonna strike them harder tonight." Meanwhile, like a month ago, he was like, "I'm gonna blow up all their power plants and water purification facilities and bridges." It's like some super villain so like giddy to commit war crimes. It's like, that's messed up, man. Well, today he's at it again. We're at it again. This country that I live in is at it again. And he said this: Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Why do they want a nuclear weapon? Maybe it's because there's bully countries trying to like mess with them that have nuclear weapons. Why would anyone want a nuclear weapon? That thing can like just destroy life on Earth. Why would anyone want it? It's just for mutually assured destruction. Like if hey man, if you punch me, I'm gonna detonate this nuke and we're both dead. Now I know you got a nuke too, so I'm not gonna punch you. Yeah, but if someone doesn't have their own nuke, well then someone with a nuke can just punch them over and over again. Well, why are we spending so much money on autonomous drone warfare, on ballistic missiles and missile interceptors and UAV bombs? Why are we spending so much money on nuclear weapons? Like, who was the first country that made a nuclear weapon? It's the United States. Who was the first and only country to kill human beings with nuclear weapons? The United States. It's the only country. Why do we get to tell everyone else whether they can and can't have a nuclear weapon? I think we should all just give them up. We'd be better off fighting each other with sticks and stones than nuclear weapons and, gosh, autonomous drones. God, that's like really messed up. Nah. Yeah, it just gets worse and worse. It's the same time loop, except it just perpetually gets worse and worse and worse. It's like, gosh, how do you get off this ride? Like, where is the menu for this game, so I can like change the settings and be like, no, I want to change like how capitalistic is civilization to like very low capitalism. Right now it seems like it's on extreme hyper capitalism. I want to go to the menu and then go to the other end. Now, I've said things like this before on this channel, and then inevitably multiple people say, well, if you don't like this country, man, you should just leave it to people who belong here, not like you can go back to China or wherever you come from. You can go live in North Korea. I'm going to address that. Well, I come from here because I was born here. I lived my whole life here. I don't know how to speak Mandarin. I don't know how to speak Korean. I can say a few words in Korean, but that's about it. I've never lived in Korea. I've never lived in China. I've never lived in Vietnam. I've never lived in the Philippines. I don't want to live in North Korea. The other aspect to that is that really at this point, even in North Korea, it's the same civilization of people at the top telling everyone else what to do, working them to death. And the people at the top, they don't live according to the values and morals that they put on everyone else. Like Kim Jong-un, I think is the current leader. He lives in extravagance. I mean, he's got like fancy cars and all this stuff, and meanwhile, like, the people of his country are starving. They have to like cry whenever he comes around. They're crying, oh my gosh, my life is complete now that the dear leader has come. And like, Americans make fun, United States citizens make fun of that, but like, we're not that far off from that. There's people that cry when like Trump comes. Like, we're not that far off. You may think that we're far off, but we're not that far off. You know, like, it's yeah, man. In fact, I'd rather go to the game setting and just be like, I'm gonna stop playing this game. I want to play a different game, or I want to like go into the game and then go into like the cheat code, like on the Nintendo system. This was the original Nintendo system. You could unlock a cheat code if you like pressed a certain sequence and with correct timing of like up, left, right, down, A, B, A, up, left, right. You know, like this, you have to press the right inputs in the right timing, and then you could like unlock like something in the game. I want to do that for this game, and then like have the aliens like come like zap all the people that are messing up this planet, and then like the rest of us can live in peace, and then maybe they can just take all the nukes away while they're at it. Let's see, how do we do that? Up, left, right, B, B, A, B. I hope it works. Yeah, you hear me, aliens? I know you're interdimensional, so you probably hear me, even though you may or may not be here. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what I've been thinking about for the last couple weeks. I just felt like I was living the same day or similar day over and over and over again, and so I was like, it's like I didn't feel inspired to make a video because I was like, this is the same day. It's the same day, and I wake up the next day. This is the same day. Man, I've been living this for like decades. And then I was like, what? Wait, I'll just talk about the fact that it's the same day over and over again. Hey Doobie, do you want to say anything to the viewers of our channel? What are your thoughts about a capitalist dystopian time loop? Are we in one? Or does it just seem like we're in one? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's okay if you don't. Bye.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories. Now, you realize that it's not even about these Asian American or Chinese American, to be precise. It's about the group of people. It's about majority of Americans. It's about how they feel about all these issues. How everyone is trying to battle with all this craziness that is going on. Somebody just said that $20 is the new $5. The money has lost its value. The dollar has lost its value. One of the things that is making it so much difficult is that the dollar keeps on depreciating against other precious metals like gold. It is really crazy that Trump will try anything to make sure that the dollar destabilizes, but it keeps on losing value as prices of goods and services keeps on going up. That's what we call inflation. So that's what's happening. Somebody said that I just keep thinking of my grandkids so innocently brought into this, or all the kids in Palestine, Lebanon, and all around the world. God bless them all. Highly suggesting planting a packet of seeds if you are able. Nature is far more generous than the economy. Gardening is good for the soul, and so is sharing. Watching something grow and caring for it. Trauma Bocino squash, highly recommended. It is really true. I think farming is one of those things that has proven that no matter how bad economy will always be, but agriculture or farming will always make sure that you have something to put on your table at the end of it all. So, planting crops or doing farming generally, having animals that you can always have eggs from the chicken and all these things. I mean, you can buy yourself alive by getting your own food instead of depending on corporations, right? Somebody said that you hit the nail on the head about the history, about how in theory AI should be used to help people to work less, but elites, corporations instead use it to work the people harder, to produce even more without an end. There is something seriously and fundamental broken in our system. Everything is about money, profit, and appearances, not about humanity and doing what's right. That's just true. I'm blown away. Almost everything you said, I've been thinking of the exact same thing in this past 1 year. I almost feel like we are all in the end game. The point where I feel like quitting my job and just leaving everything behind and enjoying nature. Like you, I also worked really hard to acquire my career, but I'm in management. I have a great pay, big house, nice car, and yet I still find myself unsatisfied and disappointed with the entire world. I almost feel like our world is on life support, and I want to be there with the world in its final years. So even people that are employed, even people that are seem to be doing well, still feel like it's not enough. Still feel like there is something different about this. Somebody said that we are being disillusioned, stepping out of the illusion we've collectively created, so we can choose the way that is in alignment with the nature's world, which represents a solid and lasting foundation for the future. But it will take us coming together, adopting regenerative economy and surrendering to the inherent intelligence in the process. Until we do that, we will get further out of our alignment, which means things will continue to get worse for us. I don't believe we have to wait for the so-called leaders to wake up. Like-minded individuals can begin adopting generative mindset now. As we do, I believe new doors of opportunities will open for us. Just my very limited perspective, but I feel right. Somebody said that I was away little years. I was away little 8 years old back in the 08s. That's 2008 if I'm not wrong. And I remember all the foreclosure ads on TV and parents being extra stressed out about money. My dad worried about losing his job, and our parents will scream and yet ask for wasting or breaking anything because they didn't want to pay or replace it. They still paid for the $60 jumbo cartoon of cigarette every 2 weeks though. But I think right now when you're trying to do comparison, it's even more crazy. It's even more crazy and crazy and crazy and crazier. The second last comment that I'm going to be reading is that also so frustrating. Balancing nowadays is how people drive so aggressively right on your ass and directly in front of you is another car or coming up on a red light. Yet numb, nuts, muffins, and bats shit crazy lasses right on your ass. Usually a big SUV or a truck. What's wrong with most people now? They behave like it's a video game or something to get someplace 5 seconds or 2 minutes earlier. I see this elsewhere in the USA from Georgia to Hawaii. That's just crazy. Everyone is on a rush and people don't even see about like safety. People don't care about safety. They just want to reach the place that they want to go. Okay, this is the last comment that I'm going to be reading. The animated rock opera, Heavy Metal, came out in theaters. In 1981, my cousin, that's about 3 years older than me, really wanted me to see it because it had been heavily hyped on MTV. It was only playing in certain theaters equipped with latest Dolby sound systems. So South Center Mall was one of those locations. My parents gave us $20 and dropped us off. Tickets were almost 17, and out of it, 1981, it passed my cousin right off because we had to pull our change and share a drink. At least it was bottomless. He was muttering about highway robbery under his breath when I asked him, "You think it will be loud?" "It bloody well better be," he quickly retorted. "If I'm paying $16.95 for a movie, I want my freaking ears to bleed." Turned out it was well worth the extra money though, for some reasons. That year, theaters everywhere jacked up with regular movie prices with permanent threefold price hike. Consequently, I only ever saw matinees from then out. Today, the tiny theater in our small town only sits at 30. It screens about the size of a ping pong table and still charges $17 a ticket. So that's crazy. So please let me know what you all think about this. It's really a dystopian and people are noticing this. So let me know what you all think about this video. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Generic Stories, but until then, let me see you in the next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.